We are a bit on a time pressure because I want to show you as much as possible today in just these 25 minutes. So mainly I'm going to talk about building an end-to-end test automation pipeline for conversational AI, meaning chatbots and virtual assistants. Long story short, in one sentence, what we are doing at Botium here is we're trying to get the best out of your chatbots by trying to rise your quality and your end user satisfaction to the highest level. I just brought, to be honest, 2 slides because I want to show you mainly hands-on experience. But one slide I had to add yesterday because I got via email the question, what is the value of testing chatbots? And this made me a bit sad. So therefore, I want to spend 2 minutes on this topic and talk about it. And then I have a second slide about defining a solid bot testing strategy. And then we will directly jump in, write some tests. And as I've put here on the playbook slide is, all this testing will be codeless, meaning no scripting, no coding skills required, meaning everyone in your team should be able to do this. And finally, we will add the stuff also to a CI/CD pipeline. By the way, I'm assuming here that you guys know a bit what is continuous integration, what is continuous delivery. The rest you will see. So let's get started. First of all, the value of testing, and therefore I tried here to put a bit like the value chain. And to explain this, I thought it's a good idea to show the bot development lifecycle, meaning more or less the SDLC for chatbots. And if we go here from the left to the right, we have 6 phases, starting with planning, going through design, development, train, test, and deploy. And of course, this is more or less an iterative process. So as we're improving our bots permanently, this doesn't end here with deployment. We start again and again and again. And what you see here underneath are different needs that are coming up through this bot development lifecycle. We have on the left side, maybe business, maybe PO guys and so on who need to analyze user needs. We have architects who have to do an NLP selection. We have somewhere here in the training phase, data scientists that need to take care about the natural language processing, about your machine learning tuning, of course, QA about testing, operations guys about production monitoring and so on. And you might think now that testing or a tool like Botium can only add value here in this test phase, but I'm going to surprise you. This is the value we are adding through this whole life cycle. For example, if I go back to the planning phase, we can do stuff like provider benchmark tests, meaning that you could run your domain-specific tests against Rasa, against Dialogflow, against Watson, and then compare the results. To be honest, or to be fair, all bots have to be trained with the same training data, but then you definitely see what is the best option for you. So we can provide in all phases through this whole cycle values, and of course mainly here in the testing and in the training, but for example also when we are in production for the operations guys, we could do permanent chatbot analytics and so on. So this was important for me as I got this question yesterday to show you a bit that the value chain of testing when you are creating bots is more than just created here in this testing phase. And then the second slide, and this is already the last one, is how do you create a solid testing strategy for your bot? And the ingredients here are pretty clear. Just take out all the different types of testing we have, combine them together to a holistic approach, automate these different testing types, and integrate them into your CI/CD pipeline and do them again and again and again, meaning with every commit, with every build of your training model, with every build of your bot, and so on. And I've just put here 5 typical test types, starting here on the left with basic conversation flow testing. What is about testing your dialogues? This is good for doing smoking regression testing, adding domain-specific testing. Also on the functional side here, doing real end-to-end testing, as I'm going to show you live in a few minutes. And end-to-end means wherever your bot operates, no matter if this is cross-browser, if this is cross-platform, if this is cross-mobile, if your bot is running on mobile devices, if this is voice-based testing, if this is testing against IVR system, you have to do all this stuff, and you can easily achieve it by using a test automation tool like Botium. Also of very big importance, of course, the health of your AI engine. Therefore, we are offering NLP score testing. It's a lot about statistics and maths. What are your top intents? What are the weakest ones? And so on. And of course, you also have to do all the non-functional stuff. I'm talking about performance testing, load and stress testing, security testing. GDPR is a very big thing in Europe, and so on, to make sure that your bot is really responsive, also under high load. And finally, as mentioned before, you also have to measure what's going on in production. And the cool thing is, or maybe the crazy thing is, in the minutes I have left, I'm trying to show you all of this right now live and how you can integrate it into a CI/CD pipeline. So to not lose time, let's get started. So first of all, what we need is a chatbot under test, and therefore we are going to use Sarah. Sarah is a demo bot from Rasa, and if I refresh this browser, we should be able to talk to her by saying hello. Hello?
Hi, I'm Sarah. Are chatting to me, you agree to our privacy policy.
Yeah, so break it here. So Sarah is there, and Sarah can talk to us, and we are going to test her mainly in this demo. The next thing we need is a test automation tool, and therefore we will use our bot box. And the first thing we need is kind of a CI, continuous integration server, and therefore I'm going to use Jenkins. Here we have a sandbox, some kind of playground, so we can add some stuff here. First thing that we want to do, if you remember our solid bot testing strategy, is to do some basic smoke testing based on your conversation model, meaning testing some dialogues. And therefore, I just go here to our start menu and select regression testing in our quick start and give this whole project a new name. So let's call it Sarah Smoke, maybe. And then the next thing is to choose the technology we are testing against. And as you can see, we have all the blockbuster technologies here and all the smaller ones. And of course, also Rasa is there. And the only thing I need to do now is I need an HTTPS endpoint of Sarah, and she's hosted on our demo server. So it's demo.bottombox.com/ I think it's demo Rasa. Let me check my cheat sheet. No, it's Rasa demo. So we just need the endpoint of Sarah, and we need a token to authenticate. I'm not going to tell you this one. And then we can already check the connectivity by saying hello to Sarah. And as we can see, we sent hello, and Sarah replied with, "Hi there, my name's Sarah." I'm copying this reply because this will be our first test case. And we also identified that Sarah realized it's a greeting intent, and she also gives us back 5 alternative intents. So that was the first step. We are connected to Sarah. And the next step will be that we are doing some basic hello world test, and therefore I'm choosing here our visual test case designer. And as said in the introduction, everything here can be done without coding skills. So I'm going to send hi to Sarah, and we are expecting to get back, "Hey there, my name's Sarah." And that's already it. I hit next, and in the last step, I just say enable CI/CD integration. We save the test project, go back to the test, to the dashboard, and run the tests for the first time. And that's already it. Easy as that. I'm expecting, by the way, those tests here to fail at this point. No, we were lucky. So Sarah replied with, "Hi there, my name is Sarah," and everything is green. Why was I expecting her to fail? Well, this is now a static response that we have defined. Sarah is not always replying with the same sentence. So we have to take care of dynamic response, and therefore I will tweak this test that we have created a bit. So therefore I go to our visual test case editor, and instead of this static response, I will go here for some dynamic ones by defining a Sarah greeting utterance list. And I have checked up front what Sarah will reply. It's either "Hi, my name is Sarah," or it will be "Hi there, my name's Sarah," or the third option she will use is hi, I'm Sarah. And then we are safe, meaning that those tests will always pass. We just have to go back to our conversation and replace here the static reply with this utterance list, and that's it. Save the whole thing. And if we go back and start the test session, then Sarah this time might already answer a bit different. So this is how you compose very easy test. We already have a result, and as you can see, Sarah answered now a bit differently. So what about continuous integration and delivery? The cool thing is if we go here to our test project and to the build server integration tab, we can see that Box has automatically generated for us webhooks, meaning that we can take them and directly integrate them into our pipeline. So we have the option to use an HTTPS webhook, a CLI command, a curl command, or we can even create our own command here based on this description. I will just use this curl here for the moment and try to trigger the tests through our pipeline in Jenkins. So coming to Jenkins, this is pretty easy. By the way, all these pipeline orchestration tools, no matter if you use your Jenkins or the Azure Pipeline Service or from Amazon or CodeShip, whatever, all these tools can call a webhook. Yeah? So let's call this project Demo Rasa. I'm going to make a freestyle project. And yeah, skip the description for now. We don't need source code management because Box is always fetching the latest test versions from a Git repo. We don't have to take care here. But what we need is a build trigger. Yeah, and usually I would say now build these smoke tests and execute these tests after the training model was changed. So a commit was on the training data, or there was a commit on the chatbot or something like this. But as I don't have Sarah or the Sarah project here, I will say let's do a periodic test. Yeah, something like a nightly build and test, or let's test every day at 5:30 in the morning. And therefore, you can just use here a typically cron expression. So we go for minutes, hours, every day, every month of the year, and I want to run the tests only from Monday till Friday. Then I say here 1 to 5 every day at 5:30 in the morning, and that's already it for the trigger. The only thing we have to add is now a build step, and therefore we want to execute the shell command. This is our curl. I have to move this a bit away, it's disturbing. I say apply save. And let's say now it's 5:30 in the morning, then a build will be triggered by Jenkins. We can go into this build, have a look in our console and see, wow, the tests have been executed, finished with success. And we even have here a link to the result. So from absolutely zero to connecting to your bot, doing a first hello world conversation-based testing, integrating it in your whole pipeline, it took us more or less just a few minutes. And that's pretty cool. I'm coming from test automation for mobile apps and websites and so on, and thinking back in those days when we started here with Selenium or Appium to create web drivers and so on, define all this stuff. Then this thing that we have built here is, I think, pretty easy and pretty quick to do. Next thing, I promised you to show you end-to-end testing, and therefore, as you have seen before, Sarah is able to talk, so I decided to show you voice-based testing. Same principle, we go to our start menu, start our quick start wizard, and call this project now maybe Sarah end-to-end. And now I don't have to enter credentials again because we already connected before to Sarah. So I just choose the chatbot just to be sure. I say hello to her again. Yes, she's there. And now the difference is you can see I can also play the answer she gave us. Yeah. So we sent hello and she said,
"Hi, I'm Sarah."
So we are connected. And now to make it a bit more interesting and show you other options how to compose tests, I will go to our live chat recorder, because this is maybe really the easiest way of composing new tests, can be done by everyone in your team. And what Box does right now for us after we save the test project, it opens a live connection to Sarah. So therefore, I can talk now to her in this live chat and say, hi, and she will reply. And the cool thing is, at the end of our conversation, we can just save this whole thing as a new test set. I will reconnect because I promised you we go end to end and we talk to her, meaning that I'm not going to chat to her text-based. I'm really going to talk to her. And one thing she can answer is how to get started with Rasa. And therefore, I will just record this sentence by hitting here the micro. How to get started with Rasa. And as you can see, we have now an audio file here. How to get started with Rasa. How to get started. And I can send this to Sarah, and she will detect the right intent and answer. Yeah, easy as that. Or what you also can do is, for example, can you tell me about the Enterprise Edition? Sending this to her. She will start to tell us about Rasa Enterprise and so on. Yeah, so following this example, you could really have here, I don't know, a 1-hour conversation with your chatbot, record everything, and then at the end, save the whole thing as a new test case. So let's call it voice testing in this case, hit OK, and that's it. Yeah, so if we go back to our test project, and I filter now for Sarah here, then we see Sarah end-to-end. I can run the tests and they will run end-to-end now. Takes a bit longer. Before we were testing directly against the Rasa NLU. Now we are testing end-to-end using voice. But yeah, also here in a few seconds we have a result, and on our result tab you can see, and you can also hear, if you hit these arrows, that we were sending audio files. How to get started with Rasa. And Sarah answers voice-based.
To determine how I can help you best.
And so on and so on. Yeah. And the cool thing here is, going back to our test project, same thing as before. Bottom box created out of the box for us a webhook, and we just need to integrate it into our pipeline. So I copy this curl command again, go back to my Jenkins, go back to the Jenkins project, configure it again, and just add another build step. Yeah, so in this case, I really want every day at 5:30 in the morning to run first the smoke test. And if this smoke test succeeds, let's run also the end-to-end voice-based testing. Yeah, easy as that. Just add it here, say apply, save, and let's imagine it's again 5:30 in the morning. We start the build, go inside the build, check the console output, and we can see tests are pending, meaning they are running right now, but in a few seconds, finished success, we have a result. So once again, I can click on the results and I see, well, tests were running end-to-end voice-based. Easy as that. Yeah, and for those of you who are new to this whole DevOps concept, CI/CD integration and so on, what this means now is that you can execute these tests 100 times a day. Yeah? So we see big projects with, I don't know, 50 developers working on the chatbot and so on. They are producing 100 commits a day, meaning that 100 times we are running smoke tests, we are running regression tests, we are running end-to-end tests, and so on. Yeah? So you have only once the effort to write your tests, bottom bot seamlessly executes it for you. Yeah, this was typically end-to-end testing, but I promised you to be crazy enough to try in this 25 minutes to show you also the other stuff, like, for example, security testing. And therefore, I'm going now back. We could also go through our quick start again and start here a new security test, but to tweak the time a bit, I will now just take our smoke test that we have done before. So Sarah Smoke is our project. I will go to the settings and I will turn on here a switch. This is just a small switch, but it has a deep impact. I enable no security testing, hit save. And if you believe it or not, now we have enabled continuous security testing through our entire pipeline. So if I go back to my dashboard and start the smoke test once again, then you might not see immediately a big difference. So we will get in a few seconds the results again. So very simple conversation. We have sent hi to Sarah, and Sarah replied as expected. But if I go now to the security scan tab, you can see that a lot of stuff was happening in the background. Yeah? So what we are doing is, when you enable this security testing, is that we are putting a proxy in between Botium and your conversational AI, in this case, Sarah. And all communication that goes to Sarah and everything that comes back goes through this security proxy and is tested for around about 300 external vulnerabilities out there. And if you imagine that this very short conversation already produces these 9 errors, then yeah, I think it's worth its time to enable continuous security testing. And what we are doing here is we are first of all telling you what's the problem. I don't know, incomplete or no cache control in problem HTTP header set. And we are going even further and telling you about a possible solution. Yeah. So what you can do to fix this problem. And in most of the cases, we are even able to show you here a link with more information, what the problem causes and how to fix it. And as you can see, we are strongly relying here on OWASP. This is more or less the driving community out there behind security testing. And once again, go back to the test project, build server integration, copy your webhook, and every time these tests get executed, you also have continuous security testing in place. And the cool thing is, in your QA team, you don't need the security testing knowledge. It's there out of the box. Yeah, next thing I want to show you. I know I'm moving pretty fast, but I want to really show you as much as possible. Let's do a quick performance test. So this is a requirement that is coming up more and more by our customers to really simulate here thousands of parallel users and to see how bots are behaving. And therefore, let's create a project called Sarah Performance. And once again, we just take our Sarah Rasa bot just to be sure. Let's see if she's there. Yes, she is. Then the next step is, apart from composing new tests with Visual Editor, Recorder, or even a crawler that is included, we can also select here out-of-the-box test sets. Yeah, and I'm now just going for the smoke test set we have created before for Sarah. So this very easy communication. And at the end, in the project settings, I say now enable stress and load testing. And if we go now back to the test project, we have here a performance test tab. And on this tab, I can say, I want to do load testing, I want to do stress testing, or there's even an advanced mode if I want to do a bit more. And going for typical load testing, you have now 4 parameters to choose, and we are not limiting here anything. Yeah, so you can say, I want to test the whole night, I want to test 10 minutes. So something that is very typically is that our customers are testing for 5 minutes, very high load, really a peak or something. I will do it now for 1 minute to not waste too much time. Then we have a test set multiplicator here. This is multiplying the conversations in the test set we have. Remember, we're using here the smoke test set we have defined before, which is just saying hi and searching for the reply of Sarah. So if we are simulating here, 5,000 users in parallel, we need to multiply these conversations a bit to have a full queue always. And finally, we define an acceptable rate of failed combos. This is more or less your exit criteria. Yeah? So if your bot cannot reply to more than X% of all conversations, we should end the performance test. Otherwise, they might run too long. And by the way, down here, you can always see the impact of changing here a parameter. Yeah? So if I change here this value, you immediately see we are simulating here now 500,000 users at this and so on. By the way, we are not limiting here anything. The limiting factor is usually the server where you are hosting your bot box or the AI on the other side. And finally, we just hit start the performance testing and the test run. Yeah, once again, easy as that. And as promised before, without any scripting knowledge or coding knowledge. Yeah, so it takes now a bit of time till we see the first results. So after the first seconds, we see already that we have chatbot response time measured. The count of processed conversations is already going down a bit after a few seconds, but we have no failed convo yet, so this is good. And the processing delay is also changing a bit. And yeah, after 1 minute, these tests will be finished, and we will have a result. So this is basic load testing, and maybe also to mention, as you have seen before, also stress testing. The difference is that In the load testing, we are more or less firing a constant load against the chatbot to see the behavior over time, versus in stress testing, we are increasing this load in steps. And the stress testing is very good to find the boundary of a chatbot. Usually you start with low value, like, 100 parallel users, and we go up to wherever, 10,000, and at some point you will see that your chatbot cannot answer anymore. So this is typically performance testing, and we have a result here. As mentioned before, stress testing won't look that much different. It's just that that we are increasing the load permanently. And then I'm coming finally to the NLP testing, and this is usually taking most of the time. Therefore, I've put it at the end, but also there, we have the goal here to make test automation fast and easy, and therefore the NLP testing also is. So we create a new test project. We call it Sarah NLP. We once again just select Sarah here. And then a very good option that is pre-selected here is for the first NLP test you're doing to use our conversation model downloader. So what happens here is that Bottom Box will download the conversation model from Rasa. And out of this training data generate also test data. And this is a very good initial step for this test run. The thing is, this training model of Sarah is pretty big, so it will take some time. And therefore, I also did it in the afternoon and can show you what is the outcome. So this is a typical outcome of an NLP test run. And if I give you a sneak peek here, you can see that stuff is different. So we have a lot of statistics and maths here showing you what is your intent confidence distribution, what are your weakest intents, how is the confidence of your utterances, what are the distributions. We have suggestions here how to fix stuff. You have a full overview of your training progress. We have mismatch probability risks included. Also for mixed and alternative intents, you get a full confusion matrix with all intents your bot knows. And I mean, in testing, red always is bad. So if we hit this one, we see, oh, for this utterance here, the wrong intent was predicted, most probably due to this low confidence. And what we are doing is we are giving you always all the insights, so you can click onto this data and get the full stuff that is behind, even stuff like unigrams, bigrams. We are showing here all the utterances that belong to an intent, and the data scientist should be able to interpret these graphs and see utterances are too close to each other, intents are too close, and so on. So this is what we are doing with this NLP performance testing. And same thing here as I have shown you before. You just take the webhook for this NLP testing project, you add it to your CI/CD pipeline, and every time you want to, you define it. Every time you do a commit or whatever you want to have, Bottom will execute these tests and give you feedback.